All right, welcome everyone to the 30 something podcast, season 2. This is like officially episode 1 of season
Facts.
2. You know, we kind of had a little blurred
Technical
lines
difference.
anyway. On this week's show, we're going to talk about Jussie Smollett. I believe that's how you pronounce that brother's name. Things that brothers should know before they turn 30. And we're going to talk about Tekashi 6ix9ine. If you're listening to us on our YouTube, SoundCloud, or iTunes, please don't forget to share, comment, and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at podcast30something, like us on Facebook, and send us an email at the30somethingpodcast. That's 30 with the number 30 podcast, 30somethingpodcast at Gmail. Now, on behalf of Tone, Khalil, Thompson, who's MIA, and myself, hope y'all enjoy season 2, episode 1.
And we appreciate y'all sliding in the DM. So make sure y'all keep doing that, okay?
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Absolutely. Now, we have a guest on today's show.
We do.
Tone,
Now
you were the
listen.
person that picked out this guest. So real quick, so everybody that's listening, Tone be the guy that always be picking
I
out
find
the
the
guests.
talent. So that's what my job is. Everybody plays their roles. Everybody has important roles, but I do really find the talent because I don't think I'm a sociable person, but people always say that I have good people skills and how to communicate and talk to people. So I just have a good personality in that regard. So that being said, I do want to introduce my boy Ray.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing today?
Welcome to the podcast, man. Is this your first
welcome,
time on the
bro.
I'm finally
podcast?
here, man.
Welcome, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm finally here. Me and Tom been talking about this for a minute, man. I finally made it, man.
Now listen, this is one unique thing, and this is actually a pretty cool historic thing for our podcast because Ray is actually, because nobody on our actual podcast is originally from North Carolina.
No.
So this is our first male guest that's actually from North Carolina, so that's a big deal. So we're going to be probing his brain, talking about some cool stuff and really trying to understand because he grew up here.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
Hey, so Ray, will you introduce yourself? Just tell our audience a little bit about yourself
Yeah.
and how they can contact you.
Yeah.
And then we'll switch up from our scheduled program and let's ask him some questions about North Carolina.
Yeah, because
Okay.
yeah.
That's what's up.
But go ahead, man.
Hey, yo, so yeah, I'm Ray, man. I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. Definitely went to Dudley High School and A&T, so I'm an alumni there. A little bit about me, man.
G.O.?
Yeah, a little bit about me, man. I really been in North Carolina all my life, from Greensboro to Charlotte, man, and pretty much the culture down here is pretty cool. Musically inclined, came from a lot of sports background. North Carolina's a cool state, man.
Used to push that rock, man, like my boy Kameen Alameen, man.
Yeah.
man.
That's the hand of the rock too.
But
Yeah,
you
I
come
run the
from,
point.
okay, so run the
Yeah,
point, okay.
I run the point. I run the point. Like I probably played basketball for maybe 10 to 12 years, man. Man, basketball was cool, man. Like growing up, it was a cool. Like we're not growing up in the era where the kids like they on the computers and gaming real hard. We used to game, but I was the kid that went to practice, man, for 10 years, man. I took myself. No parents, nobody went with me. Nobody went to my games. I was just there, man. I was into it.
Self-motivated.
Yeah, man. At some point I gave up, but yeah, definitely ran the point. I was probably like 100 pounds lighter, but anyway, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. So I'm on IG, Polo Sport Bo. That's the best way to reach me, man. I ain't really on the social media too heavy.
But you actually are a musician, though.
Yeah, right.
So you really got some bars.
Yeah,
So
I definitely got bars, man.
when the album dropping or the mixtape, what's up? We're
So,
gonna
yeah.
hear it.
So yeah, right now, man, I just got a single. I'm doing a video at the end of this month, man.
That's what's up. Do you got like a SoundCloud page or anything, or somewhere where the audience, anybody who interested in listening to the music, where they can check out some of your, some of your joints?
Musically, I had to find myself again, man.
Mm-hmm.
I took a transition. I went from like groups, working with people, doing a lot of different stuff with others. I don't have anything now. Give me a couple weeks, man. I have everything on iTunes, SoundCloud. I'm gonna drop a single in a couple weeks.
And we will add content on the actual page, definitely. So,
Yeah.
because I've heard this guy, I've seen snippets and videos of his content, and in season 1, I used to always bring up, the artist of the week or whatever have you. So, my ears to that musical in the streets, and this dude is really dope.
Gotcha.
Word.
Gotcha. So I have a question real quick because I just met Ray today. You 30 plus?
Of course.
Okay, so I have a question, man, because sometimes like I've heard this narrative that like, hey, if you haven't made it with the music by the age of 30, you should give up. How do you feel about that? First of all, I don't want to assume that you've heard that. So have you heard that?
Yeah.
And then what are your thoughts on that?
My whole thing is like, music has certain levels nowadays. Like then it was like, then it was like you had to get on the labels, you had to sign. And I look at like everybody that I listen to. If you look at like Nipsey Hussle, he just made it, right? Really
The
made it.
game is different.
He 33, man.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it like 2 Chainz, like
Facts.
40 something.
Yeah.
I look at like all my favorite artists is my age, pretty much.
Yep.
It's not really like if you do it for love or if you do it like if you want to be the most famous guy, you can pretty much push it yourself. One of my favorite artists is Don Kennedy, man. He probably about 34, 35, right? He pretty much got artists, man. He got artists under him, and he never signed to a label.
We went to go see Dom.
Yeah, me and Tone went to a Dom show.
Is
Shout out
Dom
to Dom
a West
Kennedy,
Coast
man.
artist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you, as far as
He's
being
like
from
top
North
dog.
Carolina, like gravitate more towards like a West Coast artist?
Well, man, I mean, music doesn't really have a coast to it to me. Like music is music, regardless of where I am. I just like good music. So I don't know, man. Just really rocking with underground rap and being into the underground music real heavy. Kind of gravitating away from commercialized music.
Right.
Because I mean, I just feel like the underground rap is kind of like college basketball.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. And it's interesting you said that. I mean, because it's February and next month, of course, is March, which is March Madness.
Yeah.
And that's actually my favorite time for sports. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the NBA.
Yeah.
But if you're a college basketball fan, there's no other time like March Madness. March Madness is March Madness for a reason.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the games was in Charlotte, but we need to be there.
Man.
We need to figure out what days we can take off, man, because
And me and Ray are Duke fans, so let you know.
So let me back up. Real quick, because I had asked you a question about have you heard like the whole narrative of saying, hey, if you're 30 plus.
Oh yeah.
If you're 30 plus and you haven't got signed and things like that, man, I agree with you, man. And like just like you said, my favorite artists, some of my favorite artists pushing 50.
Yeah.
So so man, kudos to you, man, for continuing to create art and not let limit stop. And that's something that's really big that we talk about on our podcast. It's the 30 Cent podcast. But we try to inspire the youth, but then we're still learning, we're still building ourselves. So absolutely.
I want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
To the, before we go to the next subject, pretty much, man. The thing that hold artists back in North Carolina, anywhere else, is just listening to other people's opinion.
Man.
They care too much about what other people say. I mean, I did shows with like major artists, like Crit, people like that. Just different stuff, man. I didn't, been in those situations, been around those people. I've had, people from good music pursue me years ago, and it was just like, man, I don't really want to be famous at that point. I just feel like sometimes fame can be overrated. Like now, I want to do it now because I can control where I go, or my fan base, or who I
That's a great
the
point.
kind of people that I want, to involve myself around. Because I don't really, like nowadays with music, man, you can just use the internet or whatever to your advantage.
Word.
At some point, if you're in the right place, the right time. It's all about who you know, really, too. But, I rub shoulders with a lot of people, man. So it's just like, at this point, man, I want to do what I want to do. So it's not.
Khalil, you had a point too, right? You had a question?
Yeah, I did have a question.
It's okay. I have one too, man. How do you define success? Like getting into music and starting a bubble a little later. And when I say later, it's not late, but to what society calls late.
Yeah.
How do you define success as far as pushing your music career?
Yeah, well, I mean, success is just pretty much, going to do the shows that you want to do. Going to places you want to go. Once you travel overseas, you got your, to me, I like an organic kind of hip hop show. Like I went to pretty much like, I'm not the kind of dude who's like big on a Beyonce, Jay-Z type of show. I want to go to this Currency show where it's organic hip hop, where it's, a couple, about 1,000 people in there. I get more of a, like an intimate feeling of organic hip hop shows than I do at
Stadium music.
Where everybody.
The stadium music, man.
I just feel like
Get
it's
too much.
overrated, it's too crowded, it's overhyped, and I can't enjoy it myself.
Gotcha.
So when I'm at like that smaller crowd, that's successful when you go, city to city doing what you want to do, and you can, your fans can text you and say what's up to you. versus, you know, streaming after you know, you way over here, you ain't attached with it. You know, it's kind of like, that's more like emotional. You really gotta get that organic feeling. And
So it sounds like you're more like that B-side type artist. Like you listen to like, you know, the regular like, you know, commercial bangers, but you really search for, or your ear is always towards that other content that's deeper than the actual album.
Man.
Which that's a true artist.
Yeah, I tuned into an XM station, but as far as like me tuning into like a major station, it's really not my thing. Nothing on there that they gonna play really interests me.
Right. And then even speaking about like with you being from North Carolina, right? Yeah. So North Carolina, a lot of people, because people, you know, when they think about the South, they think about Miami, they think about, of course, Atlanta, they think about Houston, those major areas right there. But a lot of people don't even realize North Carolina, and like Charlotte is like a hub, you know what I mean? But North Carolina itself, North Carolina has produced some incredible artists, you know what I mean? Everybody from Little Brother, you got, you know, J. Cole, who's tearing everything up.
He's the one.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. You got Rhapsody. I mean, the list goes on and on. But the first North Carolina artist I ever heard was like Petey Pablo. Yeah. That's the first time I ever heard anybody from North Carolina. Yeah. So when Petey Pablo came out with that track, from you being a person that was born and raised in North Carolina, what did that do for you as far as with Petey Pablo?
It was cool because Timbaland was on the beat. Man, I met Petey Pablo when I was 13, 14, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Timbaland was on the beat. I met Petey Pablo did a bid with my uncle.
Oh, wow.
My uncle did like 8-9 years, his last bid. Okay. Petey Pablo like was in there with him, man. He kind of like set off a whole ride in there.
This was pre-raising the shirt up and twisting it like a helicopter?
When I was a young boy, man, like 14, pretty much. One of my friends, he was dating this girl, and she had a birthday party. And, you know, we was just
like some serious jewels being dropped,
y'all. Like going to I went to the restroom, whatever, and I come back out, Petey Pablo, I'm like 14. Mm-hmm. He was the DJ, he had the truck, he was bringing in the equipment on the van.
What?
And we realized, like, me and my boys, like, oh, wow, that was Petey Pablo. We met him when we were younger. That was in Greensboro, man. So that was a cool experience. I had a chance to meet him before he blew up.
So do you look at Petey Pablo as being like a forefather of the hip-hop scene on North Carolina? Or is it like artists even before Petey Pablo? And I'm sure there are. He wasn't that's the first person that I heard. But like, what were like some of the original influences?
Petey's cool, man. He did a lot for North Carolina. He really like raised the bar for just attention. Period.
Okay.
Back when we was growing up, man, these kids like Black Sheep they from North Carolina too.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Black Sheep. So I mean, North Carolina's cool. Oh yeah, the biggest thing for North Carolina, to me, as far as hip hop goes, is Ski Beats. He's the biggest North Carolina influence. He's the biggest influence on hip hop. He produced about half of the Reasonable Doubt album.
Yeah, Ski from North Carolina. Yeah, women. Does Ski produce I'm feeling it. Right. Oh. Camp Low. This is it. What? Did he produce that?
Let's get rich. What?
He's from Greensboro. He's from Dustbowl, man. He's from the South Side.
Wow. Bro, I swear I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, I was just telling somebody.
A lot of jewels being dropped, y'all. A lot of jewels.
So I have a question real quick.
Fonte from my neighborhood. Fonte grew up in my neighborhood. I grew up with his brothers. Like Fonte's from my block. Like
Fonte, little brother.
Gotcha. Fonte from my brother.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so is everybody cool with gravitating away from music? And let's talk about North Carolina in general.
Yeah.
Because like you being a native person from this place, how do natives feel about the amount of people who come here from like Detroit, from New York, from Cleveland? Because like and before you answer, I want to say this. Yeah. When I was living in Cleveland, everybody was talking about Charlotte. Like everybody was talking about Charlotte for CIAA. Wow. Everybody was talking about Charlotte to move people who were wanting to teach. They were coming down here to teach. The weather, like flat out, like we were always talking about Charlotte. Yeah. So it's like now when I moved down here to Charlotte, a lot of the people who I associate with are actually the same people who I associated with back in Ohio.
That's dope. But
I wanted to know, like, as somebody that's from here, like, how do you see the impacts of people coming here and some of the jobs, and then like how fast the city has grown over the years?
Man, it's dope, man. North Carolina, man, used to be real slow, growing up, and it just picked up the pace, man, like Raleigh and Charlotte area. Me growing up like 30, 40 minutes from Tobacco Road, you know what I'm saying, being a Duke fan. But like, man, just to see the growth of the city, everybody's coming here now, and it's just dope. We get to, you know, we embrace everyone into the culture, man. Like, we open our arms to anyone.
Man.
Pretty much, man. You know, it's a caring, loving state, man. I think it's a good state. You know, people can come here from other places, raise kids, start their families, and be successful, relax. Get away from all the noise. And, it's a big city, but it's still got the country feel to it.
Word.
And, if you want to go to the country, you can always drive 30, 40 minutes and be out there, with the country boys, man. And boots and stuff, man.
Yeah, quick question, because you talk about Tobacco Road and stuff, and I know you're a huge Duke fan.
Yeah.
So are you one of those fans, and don't take this the wrong way, because I know how people can be from, because I'll admit it, in the Final Four or in March Madness, this is blasphemy back at home. You either Michigan State or Michigan. You either Spartan or Wolverine. But I love Wolverine football. But I love Spartan basketball. But I love Wolverine football.
Hey man, my condolences. OH.
Hey, Maya's gone. You know what I mean? Y'all coach gone now. Like,
you still have not won in 8 years.
Well, not in this. But if we talk about the overall record, that's a whole other story, though.
Today.
So what I was gonna say was, now you got Michigan. You got Duke, and then you got North Carolina. With you being from North Carolina, you know what I mean? Do you have allegiances strictly towards Duke since you grew up close to Tobacco Road, or do you like both teams? If you want for either
just
one,
about to open up a can of worms, because I'm telling you, he about to go in.
Man, that's like a Cowboy fan going for a Redskin. You know what, man? My cousin PJ Harrison used to play for Carolina, right? So I used to root for him, man. But then I was hoping they still lose.
What on the low? Your own cousin?
Yeah. But I wanted him to win, as long as he do his thing.
Okay.
But as far as like Duke and Carolina, man, it's just like a culture, man.
Yeah.
It's like in our blood, you know what I'm saying? It's either your blood is light blue or dark blue. You choose. You pick and choose.
Yeah.
But nah, man, I'll never pull for a Tar Heel, man. I've been in the Dean Dome many times.
Okay.
I've been in the campus though. The campus is cool. The Dean Dome's cool. It's got a lot of space in it. My cousin used to hold season tickets, and then PJ was there or whatever. That was cool. Maybe a game or two. And pretty much we just big on college basketball, man.
Okay.
Like, that's like college basketball. Like North Carolina, we are a college basketball state.
Oh, that's a fact. That's a fact.
And to just give the people from the outskirts that really don't understand that predominantly the state, they are Tar Heel fans.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to be a Duke fan. Like it's predominantly Tar Heel fans here. Like
it is.
so to be a Duke fan and understand it and keep your head up high and have that level of excellence, that seriously, anytime I just see Ray in a room, shut some North Carolina fans down.
They get mad.
Down.
They don't want to talk to me this year.
So
Tar Heel fans ain't talking this year.
So let me put a ribbon on this and just say this. Hey, Charlotte is like an inviting city. They are accepting, and I'll tell you this: like, there's always issues. There's issues everywhere.
True.
But like when I first came down here, and I see people will wave at you when you drive through a neighborhood, or people like that Southern hospitality. It's so crazy because I've lived down here for 7 years, and then when I go back home and people are rude, I forget, like, wait a minute.
The culture.
I forget the culture difference. Yeah, man.
But that's how I met Ray. Like, I was sitting here minding my own business, and my regular, like, my mode is just, hey, if I don't know you, I'm not speaking to you.
That's how we
this
do it.
guy said, hey,
Yeah.
what's up, man? Like, my name is Ray, and it's just, I appreciate that open welcoming, like you said. That's just a really, that's why I'm still living here.
So like, I mean,
break the ice, man, with y'all up north, boy, y'all city boys. You break the ice, man. I don't get wrong, man. So I walk around, my chest out, chip on my shoulder, keep trying to live, what kind of day I am. But you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, it's all love, man. And it's just about love, man, and growth, man. Of course, you don't just want to, speak to everybody, man. But after a while, you see a person you see a person so many times, man, and you can read and peep the energy, man.
Right.
And the levels of it, man. So pretty much like, after seeing, y'all boys for a year or two, you know what I'm saying? You can really realize, Bill, we might have the same type of gear. We might be on the same type of fashion way.
Right.
So you might like after that, you realize you like the same music, into the same stuff. You might like some art.
So let me, I don't mean to cut you off.
What's
So just let me tell you though, like back home, if we don't know you, we don't talk to you.
Yeah.
And if we don't like you, We want to talk to you. We want to talk to your cousin.
Yeah.
We want to talk
None
to
of
your
that.
neighbor.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean that's respectful. I
Yeah.
like that actually, man. I respect that. Because if I don't like a person, I ain't about to talk to him either. But in North Carolina, man, they'll dap you up. They'll talk about you.
Yeah, and a quick thing, just to interject real quick. So, I mean, coming from Detroit, right? If you up north, Midwest, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
like you hear like about quote unquote Southern hospitality. But I can't necessarily say I had the same experience that maybe y'all may have had the way that y'all are speaking about Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
Because when I came down to Charlotte, okay, yeah, you hear about Southern hospitality, but that seemed like more of a thing like in the past. Like my barbershop is in the hood, is in the west side of Charlotte. You know, one of the roughest areas. I go to Migos, right off Tuckasegee. You know what I mean?
That
right,
sound like the
smack in the
Migos?
hood. Yeah, yeah.
The trap, bro.
Right, it is the trap. You know what I mean? And the thing is, and I love it because like you can never go wrong going to a barbershop in the hood,
You
right?
feel connected.
And then when I chop it up with them.
Yeah.
Anytime I go to the barbershop, I'm always dropping jewels. We talking about sports. We talking about some of everything.
Yeah.
But the cats there, the Charlotte cats that I run into up in there,
Yeah.
they not on no quote unquote Southern hospitality. They on some same stuff. I think it's the same thing. Like maybe back in the day, it was more of that.
Yeah.
But since so many people migrate back and forth
From different
from
states.
because most people from up north, they ancestors
Yeah.
migrated from down south and went up. Now it's kind of like a reverse thing. Everybody's coming back down south.
Yeah.
So don't think that people that Southerners quote unquote just smiling at you and waving at you and just no, you got some grimy cats here. You got some cats that's watching you, that's doing everything. And if
they
they
watch
you know what I mean?
They
And that ain't to take away or knock Southerners or quote unquote take away from Southern hospitality.
You're right.
The thing I'm just wanting to make is don't just think shit is just sweet just because from what you heard or what you seen on TV.
But that's a
Ain't
man.
that
You know what I
sweet
mean?
with- Ain't that
Yeah.
sweet with Moscato?
Man, I know that's right. Yeah.
Ain't that sweet with Moscato? But another cool thing is that, man, you gotta go to Greensboro, man. You gotta go to like a Geo, like a homecoming, man.
Mhm.
I gotta take you around that part.
For sure.
Like my family got a restaurant over there.
Oh, word?
Yeah, great shit. It's been there for 30 years.
What's the restaurant name?
It's called Boss Hog Barbecue. I'm talking about.
Okay.
We all grew up in that restaurant. That restaurant taught us morals, man. PJ worked in that kitchen, running the trade. All of us worked in that kitchen. And they taught us how to cook, so that way the men in my family cook.
Okay.
So, man,
Okay.
talking
That's
about-
the truth.
Yeah, got chop a shoulder up, you know what I'm saying?
So any ladies out there listening, if y'all run into my man's Ray, just already know he coming equipped with he got the recipe. He a Southerner, you know what I mean?
We know y'all like to eat, so y'all gonna be sticking around.
Right.
Hey, and everybody from North Carolina that don't agree with his assessment, y'all know how to reach him.
Yeah.
Leave
Hey,
the comments.
Hey,
Sport ball.
so let's talk about this Jussie Smollett stuff that's going on, and anybody that's aware of it. Like I don't want to speak out of turn a little bit here, but I hear that there was an attack on people. It was in Chicago. Folks wearing MAGA hats. They beat him up. What
Put a noose on his neck. All
Put a
types of
noose
stuff.
on his neck.
So the breakdown, 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. in Chicago.
Okay.
He went to go get a sandwich at 2 a.m. by himself
Yeah, that's right.
in Chicago, and all of a sudden, 2 people pop up and have MAGA hats on with nooses and bleach.
Yo,
How do you have those tools?
yeah, how you end up with some
Man, that's-
bleach?
Hey,
I
so
think it's staged.
Hey, so
Yeah.
real quick, I never heard of any like white supremacist racists that just like carry bleach around them. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Like,
bleach.
be like,
bleach your skin.
hey, no, be like, yo, let's pack a noose and some bleach, cause we
Yeah.
don't know when we gonna run into some niggas that we might want to hang and throw bleach on.
Let's throw on the MAGA hat.
By the way, ain't you that Empire guy? So come on, let's pour some bleach on you real quick.
Wow.
And tell you. Like
Wow.
that's crazy.
Like, wow, out of all the black people in Chicago, let's get this one right here.
Yeah.
And
that
that's
sounds
saying, like, what was
staged.
he at? Was he like, he had to be like nowhere near the hood?
Right,
You
exactly.
was in the hood, you ain't going to Chicago.
Because first and foremost, where you going to eat at 2 a.m.
Why would you
in the hood? You know what I mean?
Once you see, that's the thing about being rich and famous, man. Once you on a certain level,
Mhm.
and so many people know your face and see you can't do regular stuff anymore. That comes to play with hip hop, but I don't want to be so high where I can't just go somewhere. and do
Yeah.
regular stuff.
I think it's, man, honestly, I'll say this. I don't believe the story.
I think it's
I
staged.
don't believe the story. Like Chicago, okay, but white people with MAGA hats.
Chirac. We're talking
You got
Chirac.
MAGA hats on,
At 2 a.m.
News and Bleach. I don't know, man.
The ciphers
I
and
don't know.
vice lords will
But-
bang you out.
Hey, and then here goes the thing too, which it kind of like it's a whole nother topic. But how many people jumped on the story on social media? Like how many people that were posting for like Jussie and this and that? And again, hey, look, let me say this. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll be willing to stand on anything that I say. I'll be willing to apologize. But I'm just saying is, it's like when I look at the story, it just doesn't add up.
So let me ask you this then: Is it okay? And this is open table, not
Yeah.
just you, but
Yeah.
because I'm always singling Josh out.
But we always disagree. It's okay.
But collectively in the room, though, is it okay for us, or is it bad that us as people, I'm talking about the black community, that we always hop on board when something happens
Bad.
and literally we don't really have the details or the information, and next thing you know, you're going down through your timeline of social media where that's the same topic of I'm team this or I'm this and I'm that. And
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
how does
It's
everybody
bad.
feel about that wave?
So let me tell you this. Let me tell you, it's bad because for one,
Yeah.
we don't know like where the story is coming from. Like, what's the motive behind the people
Yeah.
that are putting the story out? And black people, like black people, we're loving, caring people. Like we embrace,
Yeah.
like we embrace the whole immigration thing. Like we care about the Mexican kids that are being separated from their parents at the border. Like that's who we are as people. And sometimes, like, hey, sit back
And
let's-
just watch.
and just watch, and then
Yeah.
let's form an opinion. But like when the story came out, people were jumping on it, people were jumping on it, and it's like, hey, wait a minute, it sounds a little fishy. I don't know, maybe this might not be one that we jump on as a black community.
So like me, speaking as from a former social media list or whatever, you know what I mean? I just coined the phrase, the term right there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But speaking from a perspective of a person who hasn't been on social media since the summer,
Yeah.
I'm not up on like the latest, wave or craze or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
However, I do remember when I was on social media, like the question you posed, Tone, originally posed about jumping on the different waves or jumping on the different whatever this week's protest is, or et cetera, et cetera. I look at it like a lot of this stuff is like socially engineered. A lot of what people
Yeah.
are backing or not backing or whatever,
Yeah.
the options are given to them from the media, you know what I mean? And more specifically social media. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, et cetera, whatever's being displayed to you. Now remember this, the people who own these platforms, the social media platforms, they have the ability to freeze out or mute certain topics, right? So it's a lot of shit that's going on that you'll never hear about, and then if when people start posting about it or doing the hashtags, they'll mute that.
It
So you
sounds
won't hear.
like
So
you're referring to the movie The Matrix, the control, the control of pretty much what's moving, was shaking, was posted, was deleted, was not. And that's my point, is that really we need to start waking up as people and not always clicking a like and saying, yes, I'm for it, because
So
it
what-
can be controlled and we don't even know.
So with that being said,
I believe that it is
right.
being controlled.
But like if you're within a system, it's hard to think out of that system. You know how like they say you're supposed to think outside the box, which is absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
But when you step outside of a box, it's still a box that you're within. There's so many different, it's levels to the shit. Like,
Yeah.
really,
But not
like
even
seriously.
pinpoint
You know what I mean?
your personal journey, because I 100% respect the fact that since the summer you have been completely detached
That's
from
dope.
social media.
I respect
But
My man, appreciate that. Fam.
how is your processing, or how is your I guess, view of not being able, and what things have you accomplished from
Yeah.
not being tuned in or
Well,
tapped in
Well,
as in your 30s? Because now this is the way we even communicate.
Yeah.
right.
Every aspect.
And man, great point and great question. What things have I have accomplished? Not enough. I would say that. You know what I mean? Because one thing being off of social media has allowed me to realize even more is how much bullshit that I be on. Like I'm way more cognizant. You know how like when you distracted, sometimes you distracted from the point of from the perspective or the point that you are distracted or you don't even know that you're distracted. Now you can see like, oh damn, I'll be bullshitting for real. You know what I mean? So now I'm at that level where I'm like, nah, okay. My whole
There's
thing
no
was
more
like,
excuses. You can't hide from that.
yeah, well, I'm like, my whole thing is like, okay, the Super Bowl is, the Super Bowl is here, right? And I'm like, okay, once the Super Bowl is over with, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't always have like a date. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having like goals and a date you want to aspire for, but change happens now. Change happens in the present moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess just because I'm on social media, that doesn't make me any better or worse than anybody than the next person. I just realized, okay, I have to do this, that, and the third. In 2019, I'm like, this ain't no 2019, this is my year type of shit, right?
Yeah.
That I'm spitting.
And
You know?
then the segue, I mean, I know for a fact that Josh really, he told me a long time ago, he said, man, I really don't care about like regular TV. So how do you find, or how are you connected to a lot of things that go on?
Man, how am I connected? Man, I would say I'm not connected. Like I'm disconnected.
Unplug.
Because the thing is, and we're seeing it in today. I don't know when the R. Kelly thing is a whole other topic that we may or may not touch on. But the thing is, it's like, hey, whoever puts money behind a show, a television series, then they control that narrative. They control those newspapers. Like they control those stations.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry. This is what I see. I see black people. We will respond to what we see, and then that'll impact us.
Yeah.
And again, I know we weren't gonna talk about our
But this is the
Kelly,
impact,
let me say this is that sometimes to get back to the initial thing with the whole Jesse thing is like, hey, let's like do our own research, let's do our own knowledge, let's not be so quick to respond to what the media says.
Yeah.
So again, when people talk about Power or they talk about some of these shows, I've never watched the episode of that. And then when it comes to social media, yes, I'm on social media because a lot of what I do, being a DJ with the podcast, like it requires me to be on social media.
You have to be in touch.
It requires Khalil too, but you know what I'm saying? That's the whole other thing. But anyway,
But no, I want to really connect the dots to that.
But the thing is though, it's like sometimes like, hey, like now where I am today, I'll say, hey, this might not be a fight that I'll fight.
Yeah.
Where 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
we connect the dots based off what Josh and Khalil and everybody in the room, and even Ray's been saying, is that this gentleman was at Subway at 2 a.m. by himself, bleach, and the news popped up, right? So then social media, us as a black community, hop on the internet, jump on the wave, have likes, right? But remember, sponsorships have been popping up all of a sudden, right? So all of a sudden, next thing you know, this scenario happens. You're going through, you're seeing, boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, a hat pops up, some sneakers pop up. Let's say an invite, a party, whatever have you. Those sponsorships that are being paid by other people that have businesses that might segue you to actually clicking that actual link. So it's making you spend money. So that's my connection to it. So when anything happens of a wave, next thing you know, you're going through your feed, and that's how the engine works with the Instagram or Twitter or whatever have you.
Yeah.
You cause corruption in media, and we as a culture, shout out to my man Dame Dash.
Yeah.
The culture vulture.
Yeah.
Like we're going to spend that money all of a sudden randomly off of something that had nothing to do with what's going on. So it's that wake up scenario.
I think it's mind control. I think they
wake
control
up.
people's mentality. I think you know the thing about us and them coming together is just like whenever even if we ever got close to coming together or get past anything, they'll throw something out there to keep us apart. Yo, I don't watch the news and none of that, man, because you don't see nothing good on the news. You don't see nothing we did right for the news. Only thing you see is what we did wrong. I just see mug shots. Man, I don't want to see my brothers on there all the time, mug shots. Talk about the brothers that did a fundraising and did something for the kids, man, and had a coat drive and gave out some turkeys or something.
That's
Man,
right.
man, so Ray, something that you said about keeping us apart. I think a lot of stuff that I see in the media is keeping the black woman and the black man apart. That is my take on it, and
Yeah.
That's gonna be a topic.
that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing a lot of stuff that just says, "Hey, black woman, the black man isn't your compliment, and black man, the black woman."
Yeah, we get bashed. We
Yeah,
bash each other.
yeah.
You know, women be like, one bad experience, man. It's crazy, man. But we just gotta figure out a way we can, man. The internet. Once everything get involved with the relationship, man, I just feel like it's out of hand.
But just to bring it back, any other thoughts on this whole Jussie Smollett
Jesse,
story?
It was staged
I
to
tell you
me.
something. It's crazy, and they got the MAGA hats involved. But Jesse, you're a famous guy. You gotta have that 4-5 on you, brother.
You gotta have a strap.
Cause I got mine.
Man,
In the car, always.
y'all, man, in the presence of somebody who just literally just came back from the sheriff office on Friday, and I had to go pick up the concealed license. I had to renew it or whatever. You know what I mean? And it took about 3 months for them to hurry up and get it, the process and everything. I
Yeah,
just
we
picked
were
it
talking
up.
about that
So I'm all for like the right to bear arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm 1,000% for that. You know what I mean? And to your point, he should have, like, if he would have had that thing on him.
He wouldn't have no
Yeah,
problem.
I don't know what the laws is in Chicago
That's
or
the thing,
whatever.
yeah, that's
You
the
know what I
thing.
mean? Because I know a lot of these major cities,
New
a
York
lot of times
is
they
a
don't
problem.
want you to even have them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And which is even scary because if you got millions of people that live in a city,
And then
you know what I mean?
Means
Right,
something.
they recognize you, they see you,
Yeah.
and they rolling up on you. And you telling me the law? Again, I don't know what the
I can't
laws is. I
protect
don't know.
myself
If
from
right,
these people?
I can't exactly.
Man, come on.
Nah,
He should have thought that out before he went out.
yeah, and in the whole situation, I don't have a particular perspective on it because I don't really know the full details of it. I know man, his whole family is like, he got a beautiful family. You know what I mean? His big sister. Yeah, I don't know if y'all were familiar with the series that came out, Underground. It was on WGN a few years ago. They canceled it after season 2. Why? I don't know.
It was a great series.
It was a
though.
great series. But they are a known family, and he's a good actor. I caught a few episodes of Empire, especially during the time when everybody was talking about it. But I was more of like a Power type of watcher. But I don't know the whole situation. But to your original point, Josh, when you were saying, or it was you or Tone when y'all was talking about quote unquote black people just jumping onto things. I don't even think it's just black people that just jump into shit. Because if you on white Twitter, if you on brown Twitter or yellow Twitter or red Twitter, whatever color Twitter you want to put on it, or whatever culture or whatever segment of Twitter that you're on, they're gonna have opinions. They're talking about certain shit too, right? So if we're talking about us, I absolutely and totally agree with you want to be socially responsible and personally responsible of understanding and knowing the subject and topic before you give your opinion on it. However, man, my man's or sweetheart, listen, boom, 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 boom. You got all these conversations because when it's groupthink going on, when it's the masses, that's when it's no gloves. You know what I mean?
No gloves.
No, the thing is, Khalil, is when I mention black, I'm just asking, I'm coming from a standpoint of, hey, let's have a deeper level of thinking when we respond to what we see on television and social media because we don't control it.
Right.
So I agree with what you're saying.
Wait, say that one more time for the people.
Yeah, go ahead.
We don't
control the media.
No.
So
the media controls us.
Yeah, so I agree 100% with what you're saying. It's not a black thing, it's a people thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm just asking is like, hey, before we respond, let's just like follow the trail of the money and say, hey, who gains the most from the story? Who gains the most from us supporting this cause, or for us
Yeah.
Like so and that like that's all I'm saying. So I do agree. It's not a black issue, but like, hey, let's stop jumping on causes.
Yeah.
And to segue, I know this isn't what we talked about, but black people, we be so, like I said, we so quick to jump on causes that don't concern us.
Yeah.
While you see a lot of Americans, they vote according to their pockets. They vote according to what benefits them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we black people, typically the black people that I know, I'm not gonna speak on behalf of all. The black people I know, we tend to support causes that support the majority.
We just be mad.
Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying is like, hey, let's just
And
back
don't
off.
get it twisted. I mean, with the scenario, if this really, really happened the way it is, it's gonna blow up even bigger than it is now. But when you're dealing with the variables and how it was presented to the media, anybody that has some kind of understanding of how things go down and in a major city at 2 a.m., it's just very hard to believe.
Right. And then with that being said, just to piggyback on how you when you put the politics into play, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm not trying to like stop this conversation or whatever, but what was the sister's name that just tossed her hat into the presidential election for 2020?
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Okay.
Hey, and when you say sister, I'm assuming that you say sister just because of the color of her skin, kind of, right?
I'm just mad.
Because I you know.
Hey, she like that. The OG like that.
She kind of like a stepsister.
Yeah,
So for those in the audience, anybody that's watching or listening who may not even be aware of what we're discussing, could you break that down just a little bit for us, if you don't mind?
All right, let's talk about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is running. It's Black History Month, so I guess we'll say, hey, we have a black woman that's running for president of the United States. So let's give a little bit of history. I'm on Wikipedia. I'm not making this stuff up. She was a district attorney,
Feds.
from the county of San Francisco.
Feds.
Let's see here. Read a little story about her. In April 2014, let's see here. There was an officer that was shot and killed. 3 days later, Harris announced that she would seek the death penalty. Let's see here. Let's get into something that's a little bit more big here. Her politics. I had something in here about her politics. Okay, here. While Harris was in San Francisco district attorney, the overall felony conviction rate rose from 52% in 2003 to 67% in 2006.
67%.
It rose from 52 to 67, so that's a 15% increase in 3 years, the highest in a decade.
She won everything.
There was an 85% conviction rate for homicides, and convictions for drug dealers increased from 56% in 2003 to 74% in 2006. I'm not sure when marijuana became legal in the state of California. I don't want to get into anything that I don't know about, but yeah, there's been a lot of people who've been locked up. Let's see here. While these statistics represent only trial convictions, Harris also closed many cases via plea bargain.
And she was a DA? What did you say she was? What was her position at that time?
She was a district attorney.
She was a DA? Okay.
So she can't open
Was
up.
so she was like DA Valdez. What's her name?
Yeah, she was Valdez on power, man.
She was straight down.
Agent Valdez.
Hey, bro, get her out of there. Hey, now I ain't gonna say that. You could say it like that. But you trying to lock all us up. She want us free and locked up, man. You can't even have the trees out there and smoke them.
But that's the thing. I mean, because you said even, off the camera, like, you said she was an attractive woman.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you know what? That's the distraction right there. Old beautiful face. But I'm gonna put you in a old dark space. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's gonna mess all the people up. The women, the men, they're gonna be like, oh, she's pretty.
But Sarah Palin didn't pull that off.
Yeah, I know, bro. This thing Indian and black and mixed with this and that. You know what I'm talking about? I seen that like,
So I would say this. I want to know more about I want to know more about the convictions that she had for the drugs,
Yeah.
and I would like to know more of her thoughts about that. I agree, drugs are a serious issue, but I want to know how many of these, like how many people were users. It says the convictions on drug dealers. What was the amount of drugs?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I would
know the details.
yeah,
bro.
and then I also want to know more about these plea bargains.
Facts.
You know, from what I'm hearing, people may take pleas because they don't think that they're gonna get a fair shot.
You gonna tell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
You
so-
suck.
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Man, exactly. You just read my mind. I was about to say that. Speaking of like these issues going on, what's because I know originally when we started the show, you had mentioned Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, hit with the
Like,
Rico.
are y'all hip to like what's going
He
on
got
right
like
now?
8-9 counts, bro.
Man, and
With the Rico.
from what was reported, they say he pled guilty to these things,
8 or 9 counts.
as well as this is from the reports. They're saying that he's going to cooperate with the feds.
of course.
It was all
For-
good just a week ago.
Right, exactly. What's going on? So like, what's up with hip hop right now?
He's a
Like,
rat. Hip hop losing morals on the commercial side, not on the underground side.
Cause he literally was rocking with the Bloods. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he's going to.
gangsters.
He's
The trade way, trade now.
he's going to tell on a lot of stuff.
you think so, man?
He's gonna rat. He's gonna rat on this and rat on that.
So is it okay? Cause I was listening to some different outlets, and I was on YouTube, and then what's homie name? DJ Academics. He came up and he was speaking on it, and I reserve I reserve the right to hold my opinion on the brother, whatever. I'm not gonna speak bad on him or whatever, but there's a lot of shit I don't agree with a lot of what everybody say.
He got his own
But
opinion.
I know they was like really, really tight or whatever.
Yeah, it was real close. But I watched him, Khalil.
Mhm.
I watched 6ix9ine go from up here to down here in less than 8 months.
Damn.
He stole that Gotti song. That's the only song I heard. He stole it from a song that he did with some other dude. He took his song.
I will vouch for Tekashi 6ix9ine. He does have some hot songs, and I don't mean hot in the aspect of like they're popular. I would say he got some songs that I do rock with. I don't rock with him, the artist.
Yeah.
I can't separate the art. I can separate the art from the artist. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, no, I would give Tekashi 6ix9ine this. He can make some solid music. Yeah.
That Gotti song was my favorite, man.
Stupid, Gumbo, I think is another song. Yeah, he has some songs.
And you a DJ, so you hip to a lot of this.
Oh yeah, and the crowd will react. Yeah, he's solid. Like,
So would you say even like your top 5 of the new age artists, like today's artists? You know what I mean?
the thing with the whole new age, I don't like that term because it's like the separate. You know,
I would
what
just
I'm
say
saying?
top 5 retards, man. Let's just say it, man.
I would tell you this,
But that's because I know the term retard is like not politically correct, and so no offense to any retarded art.
No offense
Like,
to anybody that
No,
I
would say this. I would say this.
Yeah.
He a goof.
I'll say this: if I'm DJing like a high school party or a college party, or forget it, even really 21 and up,
Yeah.
I could throw some Tekashi 6ix9ine on,
Yeah,
and I will
jam.
get a crowd reaction.
Yeah,
Yes, solid.
Yeah,
Yes.
they come jam too.
Yes.
So what about with you being a DJ? What about R. Kelly like mix or something like that? How does that?
That so
Man.
You put it
So-
I'm gonna get my gun.
okay. So my take on it is I'm not muting shit. I'm not muting shit. I'm not muting shit. Now the
Would you? So you
the-
DJ
hold on,
weddings?
hold on,
So
hold
would
on,
you
hold
do
on,
that at
hold
a
on,
wedding?
real quick. The caveat is do the people ask me to mute? That's who I'm going off of. I'm not going off of Lifetime. I'm not going off of radio stations. I don't go off of any of that stuff. It's gonna come from the people.
Okay.
So if the people say, "Hey, don't play X, Y, and Z," then I'm not gonna play it because that's like for me as a DJ. I DJ for the people. I don't DJ off of what I like to listen to.
Yeah.
I don't DJ off of what necessarily the radios are playing. I DJ off of the crowd reaction.
Okay.
So if I'm somewhere in the crowd, just like you can put Happy People, Stephanie Malove, when we talk about like family stuff, that's right in there with Frankie Beverly and Maze. And if the people say that that's what they want, then I'm playing it. Listen, I don't give a fuck what Lifetime said. I don't give a fuck. However, if the people say no, like no, it's a family thing. We don't
So
like
Josh, we
it,
kind
then
of
I'm not
timed
playing.
in on this, right? So paint this scenario.
Yeah.
You as a DJ, you sign a contract to set up a wedding.
Yeah.
And they don't say nothing about what can be played.
Yeah.
You just set up whatever have you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we know that happy people or stepping in the name of love gets people, it used to get people to the floor.
Yeah.
Will you as a DJ just still throw that out there and try to play it?
No.
To see the reaction?
So this
That might not get you paid.
No. So here goes the thing, right? So this is about to be the first season of wedding season,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna ask the bride, like really, honestly, the bride is usually the person who I talk to the most.
Right.
And I say, hey,
Yeah.
how do you feel about this? And if a bride says absolutely not, then it's absolutely not. If the bride say, forget what they say, I want to hear stepping
So
in
you're
love.
going to bring it up initially, though.
Oh yeah, because R. Kelly is such since he's
It's
a hot topic right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring him up for like the next year.
Mm.
But the thing is like
That's fair.
so
Yeah, that's dope.
and I'm gonna ask the bride. But for me personally, I'm not me like R. Kelly was a scumbag 18 years ago to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like forget this whole Lifetime.
Yeah.
I would never. I never wanted to meet R. Kelly. I am a fan of his music, but I never wanted to meet him. I never wanted to be around him. I don't support him. I don't even buy his music. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But if somebody says that, hey, they want to hear Step Name of Love, they want to hear Happy People, they may want to hear You Remind Me. He got a bunch of songs. I'm gonna play it. You know what I'm saying? Now here goes the thing though. To your point is, I don't know how the rest of the people are gonna react. So I'll know more. We'll circle back in the summer after I do a few weddings, and I'm gonna see, hey, how are people responding? My thoughts is, I think that, I just think that again, I'm gonna ask, and if the bride say no. If she say yeah, then I'm gonna play it. But I have a feeling that people are gonna play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still going. I mean, that's Step in the Name of Love, though. But like, really, would you step in the name of love at this point? Nah, bro. I really can't step in the name of love, bro. If I hear that joint, I'm gonna walk out of there.
Scoot up a little bit.
If I hear step in the name of love, I'll be darned if you step. R. Kelly, man, knock it off, man.
Gotcha.
If I was my daughter, that house
Gotcha.
would have been on bricks.
Okay, so no, and again, I don't mean any type of disrespect when I ask this question. So please do not like take it this way. But did you have that same feeling? Not just you. Do you know people who think like you that had the same feeling a year ago, two years ago?
Yeah, man. I ain't with the TV, the Lifetime series.
Gotcha.
Cause it's gonna slander him even more.
Yeah.
Right? So, personally, man, I ain't even watched that stuff.
Gotcha.
Me personally, I'm like, bro, I got a kid, I got a daughter.
Gotcha.
So if you step in the name of love towards my daughter, then I got who's gonna step in the name of love with you.
I agree, man. I agree.
That's coming from a dad.
Hey, listen. Hey, no.
6-year-old daughter. Hey, look, man. If you 6-year-old daughter, hey, man.
Let me say this because people only take what they want to take, and then like they hear everything, but they only pick out the pieces that they want.
Yeah.
There's some type of investigation going on R. Kelly.
Yeah.
I hope they find a dude. I hope if he's done anything that they can convict them on. I
Yeah.
hope they convict them on.
Yeah.
Lock him away.
Yeah.
He can ride in jail for all I care if they can find him guilty.
Yeah.
But the music, if the people want the music, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give them the music.
They try to do Michael Jackson the same way. We're gonna say that for later.
Yeah.
Man, that's the real talk. They was at, what's the name of that Sundance? They just was at the Sundance. They just released a documentary. It's a 4-hour documentary they just had on Michael Jackson, and
I thought Lifetime was doing one.
I'm not sure about Lifetime, but I know HBO about to drop it around the time that Game of Thrones is dropping. The final season of Game of Thrones. Shout out to all my GOT,
Hey, man.
I haven't
fan
seen that
base.
show
You know what I
once in
mean?
my life.
Oh, you tripping.
I don't even watch TV. I saw Power. I don't even watch TV unless
I respect not watching TV. You know what I mean?
I highly recommend you watch Game of Thrones.
Game of
All my
Thrones
friends
is shit.
say, all my friends say Game of Thrones, man. But like
So you ain't even hip on the Shy then either.
the Shy, I heard about the Shy, man.
Shy season 2 about to
Bro,
drop
I know that.
a week before Game of Thrones.
Is the Shy on Netflix?
Nah, on Showtime, yeah.
Okay. See, I heard about The Chi, man, but I don't watch TV like that. I wouldn't know where to start, man. I'm just not a TV guy, man.
I respect that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not the best. TV's cool, you know what I'm saying? But I don't watch Netflix. I be on there searching, looking through stuff. I got a Fire Stick in the crib, bro. I probably used it once. But that was for a Bruce Lee. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching
So
Bruce Lee
look,
boy.
hey, y'all. Episode 1. I appreciate everybody watching, listening, following.
Yeah.
Leave your comments.
Shout out to
Definitely.
Thompson, man. Shout out to Thompson. He's not
Thompson.
here, but shout out to Thompson.
Yo, Thompson, man, hey, I ain't get a chance to meet you, brother, but hey. Hey, you know what's
Hey.
Bruce Lee boy.
Listen, we appreciate everybody listening, chiming in or whatever have you. We want to thank our actual guest, Ray,
Yo,
for coming through.
I'll be back. I ain't no guest, man. I'm on the show.
Hey! Hey! He said, I'm here. Let's go. Alright, we're going to talk that paperwork after the show. Alright? We're going to talk that paperwork.
Yeah.
But most definitely, I appreciate Khalil Thompson that's not here. My boy Ray,
Thanks,
definitely
brother. I
Josh.
appreciate y'all inviting me.
Listening to the 30-something podcast. Anybody got any last takes?
I appreciate y'all inviting me, brothers.
Man, for sure, man. Man, we appreciate all of our audience members, everybody who's been with us since day one. And then if this is first day that you even been with us, we appreciate you as well. We hope you continue to stick along with us on the ride. It's just only going to get better with time. It's a 30-something podcast, and we out of here.
All right. Oh, and make sure you share. Like, if you're already a listener, share with your friends. Continuously share. I know that we went pretty hard on the social media of the wave, but definitely we do got some good content for the actually tune into your ears, all right?
Indeed.
Yeah.